Welcome back to On the Couch with the Ethicalist. Now, today's guest is doing something extraordinary in the midst of war, displacement, and unimaginable loss. She's building spaces of healing, education, and hope for Gaza's children. Charlotte Awdry is the founder of Montessori Yad B'Yad, an organisation that serves children aged 0 to 18 using trauma-informed Montessori education. Her learning centres in Cairo support refugee families, and her work centres not only on childhood development, but cultural identity, mental health and dignity. Charlotte, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining our podcast.
Thank you so much, Anthea, for having me today. It's a real pleasure to be here.
So let's start at the beginning. How did Yad B'Yad, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, start? Tell us about your journey.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Montessori Yad B'Yad started as the germ of an idea in February last year with everything that we were seeing on our screens and the desperate need for children who are being displaced all over Gaza. As a Montessorian, as a peace educator, I thought I have to do something. I can't just sit here and watch. So the original plan, actually, for Montessori Yad B'Yad was inside Gaza. And because at that time, if we think back 16 months, we thought that there might be a ceasefire. There was aid getting in, and we thought, okay, we can go into Gaza and set up mobile classrooms, perhaps, moving around temporary or semi-temporary structures and serve as many children as we can. Then in March last year, so my partner and I, we went out to Cairo to pack aid, actually, to go into Gaza with an organisation called TFT. And whilst we were there, we reached out to various organisations who we knew were serving displaced Palestinians. And we said, okay, let's meet some people. Let's see what the need is. And I was connected with Steve Sosby, who's the founder of Heal Palestine. And I'd met him here in January here in Dubai. And he said, look, when you go to Cairo, just see who you can meet, see what the need is there on the ground. And then when David, my partner, and I, we got to Cairo, and we did lots of different packing of aid and some packing of Ramadan iftar meals for underserved Egyptian communities as well. We met lots of people from Network for Palestine. We went and visited some children, actually adolescents in hospital. We did lots of different things during our time there. And what became clear with the amazing people that we were meeting, and seeing the number of displaced Palestinians that were already there at that time in March 2024, it became clear that we needed to do both things. We needed to offer the semi-permanent educational learning spaces in Gaza, but there was also an immediate need in Cairo. And so we wanted to be able to do something straight away in Cairo. There was people there. Everyone that we met was, we said, have you heard of Montessori education? It wasn't that well known in Gaza. There wasn't a Montessori educational system there. But a lot of people knew about it, of course, from social media and parenting accounts that they're following. So it was known, but not widely practiced or followed, as it were. So we started introducing the idea, just families that we met, communities that we met. And the response was overwhelmingly positive of this sounds like the right thing for our community. This sounds like the right thing for our children. Our children need a second chance, and our children need learning communities, not just classrooms. They need places where they can belong and they can learn, but places that they can heal as well.
That was what I was going to ask you. So just to summarise, so now you are just in Cairo at the moment with 3 centres. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So and with a view, hopefully, we can get to in a moment to whatever the future may hold.
Yes.
It's difficult for any of us to know with the current situation. But can I ask, obviously you've been a Montessori practitioner for 14 years, but how does that system of education fit into the huge trauma of both the parents and the young children and the adolescents that you're caring for?
Yeah. That's a great question, because Montessori education is a complete package that serves the natural development of the child. And so it's a focus that is on the whole child, the holistic child. So firstly, we're not just focusing on academics, just as sort of the first benchmark of an educational experience is usually the academics. Montessori has social and emotional experience, belonging, respect, trust, dignity, self-determination, and really strong academics as well. So we don't see them as mutually exclusive. But what's really unique in a Montessori environment is because of the way the environment is prepared at all ages, so with consistency, with order, with opportunities for children to repeat activities, to master their own skills at their own space, at their own pace, that is already a safe space because you're removing any competition, any grades, any tests, any pressure. And children, all humans learn naturally. We all have this human tendency to be curious, to explore, to learn. And what Montessori gives is this safe space where this can happen. And then in this consistent, ordered environment where children are guiding their own learning, they're in charge, they're self-directed. And that's where self-determination can come from. So something as small as a child deciding what they're going to eat for their snack, going to the shelf, taking the so a 3-year-old, imagine, let's say, can go to the shelf, take the tray with the fruit on it. They choose which fruit they want, how they're going to cut that fruit. They eat that snack when they want. That is a very, very powerful act of no one else is in control of me. I'm in control of me. I can listen to my body and what my needs are. And I have the capability to do this for myself. So it's with Montessori, and this theme of self-determination runs naturally through a Montessori environment. We haven't constructed it for this program. It runs naturally. With the bigger vision of Dr. Montessori's work was when we have children who are self-directed, who are following their natural tendencies, then this is our pathway to a more peaceful and just world. Because if children at a young age are seeing what equality is, seeing what community is, what does it mean to be in community with others? When I finish cutting my banana, I'm going to go and wash my bowl and wash my plate and wash my chopping board because I know that my friend is also hungry and he might want to eat after me. So it's not you need to clear up because that's what you need to do. I'm actually learning from a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old that actually my needs are important and the whole community is important. My needs are important to the whole community. And this is how we learn, how to be with each other, how to resolve conflict, how to look after each other, how to deeply care for each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
How to care for each other. And with a deeply traumatized community who have suffered individual and collective trauma, the healing has to happen on an individual level for that child in that classroom, but collectively in this community. So all of our learning guides are Gazan. Everyone on the ground, except for one curriculum specialist, everyone is Gazan. So we have a team of 29 in total on the ground in Cairo, and 28 are Gazan. We have one Egyptian. And so this healing is done within the community. The guides, the learning guides are trained from scratch. They're parents from the community. So they're parent guides. So their children are in the environments as well. So we're embracing whole families in this healing journey.
And how do you prepare people and train them to be dealing with, because I would, obviously a Montessori environment in a rural countryside of England is very different to what you're carrying out in Egypt with refugee Palestinians. So how do you adapt that training for, as you say, the Gazans who themselves have gone through trauma? How do you prepare them to help such traumatized children and adolescents?
We go really slowly. We provide mental health support for all of the their learning guide. So everyone on our team has either individual or group sessions according to their specific needs and what the psychologists say. So that's the first two things. One is we go really slowly at a pace that serves everyone. And we offer that individualized mental health support to every guide. But mainly the concept of healing together is one that's really, really resonated with the team. So the first steps were reaching out to the community, inviting them to an online call, inviting them to a session in Cairo where myself and other colleagues would say, hey, we want to tell you about Montessori. We want to hear, do you think it's right for your family? Do you have any questions? And just lots and lots of these meetings with community, finding out how many children do you have? You've got these big, beautiful families, 5 children, 6 children, 4 children. What are the needs of your children? And in that age range we serve children from babies from 0 to 18 years. Some families have got a child in every single classroom of our, wow. of our communities. So it was very simply parent to parent, family to family. What's your situation? I mean, as you probably know, the largest proportion is of single mums because their husbands are still in Gaza. So a single mum with 4 or 5 children in a country where she has no legal status, in a country where she has no extended family to support her with her many responsibilities, with no salary. I mean, it's just unimaginable. So our vision is, was and still is to bring this community together. How can we support? How can we recreate? And I know it's nothing like what it was, and the creating and the community and closeness they had. But can we offer something that offers that is that safe space of trust and security, and to the extent where we have a parents' room on site in each centre, so mums can stay on the premises during the day when their children are in the classrooms. Of course, that's really challenging for attachment, because when baby sees or knows that mummy is in the next door room, then he's going to want to be crawling to see mummy the whole time. So that's not without its challenges, but it's really, really important because mum also, it's not like in a Western setting. She can't go to Caribou and have a coffee. She hasn't got disposable income, to just go and get her nails done or what have you. And she doesn't want to be away from her babies. Of course she doesn't.
That was exactly
She doesn't want to be away from them.
Of course.
So that's why the family room is really, really important. And what's really cool in how the family room is developed is that now the mums in there are making materials for our classrooms. They're making Arabic language cards. So, as you know, it's all Arabic and Palestinian culture and identity and heritage focused. So that's one of the things that they do, is that the mums in the parent room are making materials for the classroom. So they're then even further this beautiful tapestry of community that we're trying to create, in so much as then they're making the materials that their child is then going to work with, whether their child's a toddler and just developing her first words, and learning the names of the fruits or whatever she's interested in. And then the 5-year-old who's just having the first experience with the sandpaper letters in Arabic, for example. Or then the 8-year-old who's suddenly really fascinated with grasshoppers. So mum has then made a little booklet on grasshoppers, in the parent room that can then just be put into the environment, So
beautiful.
That's really powerful. And then there's other things happening in the parent room. So different guides are offering parenting sessions. There's been lots of requests for parenting sessions. How can you support us in our parenting, particularly with the trauma that mums and dads, if they're there, are experiencing? And of course, that's coming through in their parenting, They want to know how to support their children, but how to look after themselves. And English lessons. The mums have been taking English lessons. We found some amazing volunteers to come in and offer English lessons. So mum's working and children are working as well.
That's fantastic. And I think there's also a focus on play therapy.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you explain to us a little bit about how that works? Obviously, I think it's such a crucial part of the Montessori system anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So another really important angle is the play therapy. So each centre has a play therapy room, and play therapy is an appropriate therapy for children between age 3 and 15. And one of our partners in this programme is a Palestinian living in Dubai called Helda, and she's a registered play therapist. So Helda has gone over to Cairo and trained our guides in basic play therapy techniques. We set up the play therapy rooms, and then we're following the ethical play therapy process whereby the parent fills in what's called an SDQ form to see the strengths and difficulties of the child. And then according to the needs of that child, they're assigned play therapy in the play therapy room, whether they're a mild case or moderate or severe. Then we have a referral process that can go to other support systems for dyslexia, for other neurodivergent areas, for emotional stress. So we have a really robust referral system. And then any child who needs play therapy can have their one-to-one time in the play therapy room with the practitioner to work through whatever they need to.
So there must be a lot of, obviously you're dealing with a lot of children with mental trauma, but are you also dealing with children who have come out who now have permanent physical disabilities, who perhaps have lost limbs? We've heard a lot about this happening, and children being evacuated because they've needed medical care. Do you have some of these children in your communities as well?
We don't as yet for this focus. So the original centre focus was on children who we'd served in the community outreach. So the 500 Montessori kits that we provided in-home last summer. Then those children, that was the first base for our first learning centre. Our second learning centre was really focused on the most vulnerable communities. So communities where the mums and the families are classified as vulnerable in terms aren't able to pay for housing, can't pay for education and what have you. So we've classified these groups as they are. In terms of supporting other children who we know who've come back maybe from overseas back to Cairo with their parents, we have a plan that's for our next centre to be setting up in an area of Cairo that we called 6th of October, where we know that there's large numbers of children who've been treated perhaps in the US or in other places in Europe and are coming back to Cairo. So that's our next vision, is to be able to support those physically injured children. And of course, the first steps to that we're taking at the moment is finding a learning space that is actually going to be able to meet those needs in terms of accessibility, physical accessibility needs. I'm not sure how well you know Cairo. It's this big, beautiful, sprawling city with lots of old-fashioned buildings and mini staircases and narrow passages and what have you. So finding a really appropriate custom-made space for the children is what our priority is now.
And I'm assuming that obviously Cairo and Egypt itself is the base for this because of the proximity to Gaza. Are there any plans in the pipeline to perhaps expand to other Arab countries who have, opened their doors to Palestinian refugees?
Yeah, we'd absolutely love to do that. Yeah, I mean, the yad biyad in Arabic means hand in hand. And so we want to be hand in hand wherever there are displaced people, in this region and further afield as well. Every child has the right to education. That's, the universal rights of the child enshrined in United Nations law, which Dr. Montessori was a part of, actually. She was decades ago, part of creating that charter for the international rights of the child. And the strapline for Montessori Yad Biyad is healing through education. And that's what we're seeking to do. And every child deserves that. And we believe that Montessori is the right space, the right conditions with sensitive adults who can see the needs of those children and then guide them to their true self. That's the vision.
Absolutely, and it's a beautiful vision, and it's a perfect fit, and it feels like there's just this little ray of hope in what is something is very overwhelming situation for many people.
Yeah.
Many people over here are very affected by what they're seeing on their screens. We all are. It's very traumatic, and to have this ray of hope and this ray of sunshine in what you're providing to these children is beautiful. But you know, it must be sad. It must be sad for you, even though you're in a hopeful place. The stories that you encounter, I'm sure you're talking to a lot of the parents and hearing some really difficult stories of what they've gone through. You know, how do you remain positive, optimistic, and also people who are listening right now, is there ways that they can help you with skills or with solidarity?
Thank you so much for asking. Yes, as for myself, I've just learned to, look after myself better. And I have an amazing lady called Haneen, who's a psychologist here in Dubai, who's been supporting me in sort of with the things I'm hearing and the things I'm seeing, and with the ongoing atrocities being committed with 27 learning guides. You can imagine who of their friends and family things are happening to in Gaza. And we hear martyrs from our group of family members every day. So it's really heavy. Yeah, it's really heavy. But in terms of if anyone would like to offer anything in terms of solidarity or skills, I mean, one of the things Haneen is doing now, our psychologist, she's in Cairo this week with our team today, actually, right now. She's with our team, offering sessions to them. She worked with the adolescent community yesterday, doing some activities with them, supporting them with their mental health. So if anyone has any skills, and whether that's if you're a Montessori educator and you want to go over and offer guidance to our guides, that's amazing. If you are a mental health practitioner or a somatic practitioner or a yoga teacher or anyone who can offer something of their time to support these children. If you're a play therapist and you can go in and observe the practitioners that are there, if you'd like to help us make materials, if you have a bookshop and you'd like to donate some books, all and any help is really gratefully received. If you're a chef and you'd like to go and give some cooking classes to our adolescents, if you're a carpenter and you can go and give some carpentry lessons, any skill that anyone has would be so, so welcome.
I have a few people springing to mind that I'm going to mention off air that I feel would love to get involved, who are really passionate about helping the Palestinian people, as you are. Yeah. And of course, people can get in touch directly with yourself if they if they want to help. Can you tell us what the details?
Yes.
Can you tell us the details?
Yes. My email address is sayhello@enrichingenvironments.com. That's how you can get hold of me. And my Instagram handle is Enriching Environments.
Okay, perfect. And I'll put that at the bottom of the podcast when it goes onto YouTube as well.
Thank you so much.
Time is running out, sadly. I've got so many questions that I want to ask you. But I know that bringing in Palestinian culture is really an integral part of what you do. Obviously, we understand why, but can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So this is why Montessori is such a great fit, because Montessori is a culturally responsive pedagogy. So the culture of whichever children are attending the classroom should be reflected in the materials. And so what that means is, firstly, all of our environments from 0 to 6 are purely Arabic only. In the 6 to 12 environments, there's a few English books and a few children interested in learning English, but Arabic is still centered. And then in the adolescents, they're seeking a bilingual environment, both Arabic and English. But the ways in which we, or the children, celebrate their Palestinian culture and heritage is we have a lot of music, we have musical instruments, Palestinian musical instruments in the classrooms, embroidery, their traditional embroidery, cooking. So the elementary and adolescent students, and the 3 to 6 students cook every day for all of the community. And those are menus designed by the students themselves cooked, prepared, everything by themselves. So every thread of the culture, from food, from music, language, all of the books are Arabic. And there's a Dardasha Books here in Dubai, who's owned by a Palestinian lady, wonderful Reem. She donated a huge amount of books to our environments, and lots of those are Palestinian culture themed as well. So it's woven into everything that we do. The materials in the classrooms reflect Palestinian culture.
Which is the way that it should be.
Yeah, which is the way that it be. Yeah, and an authentic Montessori environment should be like that. Wherever you are in the world, you should feel the culture of the children who are in that classroom. And the main piece as well, of course, in maintaining the Palestinian identity is that all of the guides are from that community. Mm-hmm. It's not people that look like you and I doing the guiding.
Not imposing other cultures, and it's
the Gazans themselves.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
And it's mums and dads. So we have 5 male learning guides, 27 in total, and 22 are female and 5 are male. So that's really just this beautiful family feel of the environments, and always uplifting and elevating and centering these people who have suffered and experienced so much, and giving these children, as I said right at the beginning, this taste of self-determination. What does it mean to be deeply respected in a space that we call our own?
I think I wish you all, genuinely, all the luck and all the best with this project. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing. The fact that you did it just so quickly in response, you just thought, I have the skill set to do this, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make a difference. You know, we need more people like you who, I know a lot of us are trying to do what we can on social media by showing our support, but, you know, you just put your feet on the ground and you're making a huge difference. So honestly, I respect what you're doing in an enormous amount. And if there's any way that the Ethicalists can support you, then we will, whether that's trying to raise awareness on our platform for your work. I'm very happy to be an advocate of what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much also for being here, and thank you for everything that you're doing. And I wish we had more time. Maybe I'll get you back on again after your next trip.
Yes, after my next trip. Thank you so much, Anthea. I really appreciate the support and this opportunity. And, you know, these children deserve the best, and we're trying hard to give them the best.
And thank you for everything that you're doing. We will see you again. I'm convinced of it. Take care.
Thanks so much, Anthea.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.